Hey, everybody, welcome back to another live stream. We are just kicking things off for CPI, which comes out in just over 10 minutes now. Thank you guys for joining me. We're going to be taking a look at a couple charts, setups, of course, and reacting to the actual news event. This is probably one of the most important news events of the month. This CPI report, some of you guys might be wondering what just happened moments before here where we've got the dollar actually selling off. And Frank just alerted me. He just stepped into the office and let me know that there was actually a bit of announcements that came out saying that or some lesser concerns, even if inflation does come out hotter than expected today, which is interesting. And we're going to be reacting to that, of course. If you guys are just tuning into the stream, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know real quick as we get started. Comment right now in the chat. What do you guys want me to look at? I'm going to take a look at some charts here before the actual news. And I'd love to see what you guys are watching, what you guys are trading. I've got currently a couple things that I'm looking at, so I will be taking a look at, the dollar index. I've made this point pretty clear on the daily chart. The dollar is at a key decision point. We've got 10 minutes to go, of course, before this news kicks off. And when I say, 10 minutes, a lot of people are going to say, well, Nick, what are we buying right before? What are we selling right before? I'm not here to gamble on the release. I am a probabilities-based trader. I'm not a gambler. I don't know what the news is going to do. What I do is I know I will react to what's going to happen, and I'll set up trades after the math, right? Some of my best trades ever are trading the aftermath of news. And I'm going to show you guys, if you stick around here on the live stream, you will probably see where I'm at with some of these trades. Again, CPI is expected to come out at 3.3%. If we get a higher or lower number than that, that's where markets will get really interesting. I'm sorry for the sipping coffee in the mic. I know that's weird, but I got to have my coffee for these major news events. There's 400 people in here. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get started on some setups. Again, dollar index making a move higher here recently. It's at a key level of resistance, and how today's number comes out will set up how I trade the dollar for the next few days. If we get a really hot CPI number that breaks us out of this level, I'm actually going to probably look to go long on the US dollar short term. Again, this is a daily chart, so we're going to narrow things down to a much lower time frame. But speaking of lower time frames, look at the dollar. Dollar broke support. Again, longer term level of resistance came into play. That downward trend line came down to support. Buyers were strong for a bit, but just totally fell apart here as we got started into the New York session here today. A big rinse to the downside. And again, that was off of kind of what Frank told me as I walked into the office. We'll hear from him in just a little bit, probably after the release. But again, we have some expectations that even a hot CPI number doesn't change kind of the overall expectations for the Fed, which of course takes a little bit of the edge off of this CPI report. Let's take a look. Some of you guys wanted to talk about gold. So yeah. Doomslayer Forever says, bro, you just triggered my brain with that coffee sip. For anybody else who is inspired to get coffee, now's your time. Me and my cat dad mug. I am a cat dad. That is a true fact. I've got 2 cats at home. Both all black cats, void cats, as some people would call them. And no, they're not bad luck. They're not bad luck. They've been very good luck, I would say. Anyways, gold next up on the list. Here's the thing, right? Gold making a move here higher before the news. And, this asks the question, is this going to break out? Well, again, I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves because we're still in a downward trend. Gold has a lot to prove before it's bullish. And in fact, I think sellers have control of this until proven otherwise. A rally in price here probably gets met with sellers, right? Sellers are just so strong in the metals market right now that for me, I'm not really interested in buying gold unless everything I just said doesn't work and we break clean through that level. Then I'm bullish, right? So I'm watching for breakouts here today. And this is what I mean by trading the aftermath. I don't trade before. I'm not predicting what the news spike is going to do. I find that to be much more like gambling, much rather than, profitable trading, right? Real trading is about probabilities and consistency and risking small and that sort of thing. So let's get on to where I am at personally. I'm positioned long in the NASDAQ. This is a daily chart trade level for me. So it's a little bit longer term. You can see. So let me just start fresh on this chart and I'll show you kind of what I've been thinking. the NASDAQ has been flying off of the idea that the Fed may kind of be at the end of its ropes when it comes to rate hikes. Well, I've marked up this support zone here on my chart off the daily. So this is a little bit more of a swing trade than perhaps some of the day traders are out there. But I'm going to talk about the day trading side here in just a second. One sec. I moved the mic away so you wouldn't hear so much coffee sipping and swallowing. So yeah, so anyways, NASDAQ, I'm long-term or I'm bullish here because of the kind of long-term uptrend that we've been forming now. Is this a new bull market? I don't know. I'm a trader. I'm not a forecaster or a magician. We came down to support levels. I bought the NASDAQ here, and I'm watching the NASDAQ as we get into this news. We've got 4 minutes, guys, by the way. There's 670 of you guys. Can you guys do me a quick favor? I want you guys to explode on that like button real quick. The reason I asked you to do that is if you do that, we'll pop up higher in YouTube, and you, me, and the rest of the gang could possibly be the hottest CPI stream going on right now. So if you wouldn't mind, smash that thumbs up button with the power of 1,000 profitable traders. Let's go. Anyways, again, so that's my position. I'm still long biased on the NASDAQ. However, guys, I do want to add that if we break the lows here today, I'm going to stop out of NASDAQ. That's probably going to be calling it quits for me if this does not work, meaning CPI is going to tell me if we're on the right path to a positive NASDAQ move again, or if we need to go ahead and jump out of here, right? So I am long NASDAQ. I'll show you. This is basically what my trade looks like. So trade is pretty much long around where we currently are. Stops below. And again, this is not something I took right before news. This is a swing trade for me. I am looking for a possible return to the highs. And if that happens, I have a really good risk reward on this trade. That's like a 3-to-1 approximately. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to target the recent highs, but that's where I think we could go if this move kind of plays out the way I'm thinking. What I mean by that is I personally like to trail stops. So let's say we got a move like this. My goal would be to take this stop loss and move it into profit. And if we want to break out, then by all means, any higher lows, I'll keep trailing that over and over. That's how I generate some of the best trades that I have. And also why I have kind of a low win rate, because trailing stops kind of inherently, they don't work all the time. So again, on this channel, I try not to, there's no hype, no BS. I tell you guys when I'm right. I tell you guys when I'm wrong. I just told you ahead of news what I'm doing. Feel free to flame me in the comments if it doesn't work out, right? Because I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a trader. It's not about that, right? It's not about knowing every single thing that's going to happen in the markets. Okay, so guys, we are just under 3 minutes to go. We've got 2 minutes, 30 seconds to watch this spike here. Let me go ahead and set up some charts here. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do this way out so we don't scramble for time at the end. So, guys, again, what we're going to do here is I'm setting up 4 charts so that we can watch the reaction to the news. I like to drop things down to like a 15-minute time frame so we can really see the impact of the spike. So I'm going to put gold here in the bottom left, guys. And so these are all 15-minute charts. So NASDAQ 15-minute, gold 15-minute. I'm going to put the euro top right, which we haven't really talked about. Euro really strong this morning, guys. Nice little breakout, but still keep an eye on this 4-hour chart because you've got resistance overhead. This is going to be huge. Currency traders, we're watching this move here on euro. If you're a currency trader, let's keep an eye on that 1.10 level. 1.1038. Guys, we've got just about a minute and a half. Let me keep my focus on here so I can get these charts set up. That arrow is obnoxiously big. Let's get that off the screen for a second. Okay, so we're going to zoom in. We've got pound USD, which we also want to take a look. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to keep pound dollar. We're going to do dollar yen because pound dollar will pretty much probably do exactly what euro dollar does. So again, let's recap, guys. We've got 4 charts on the screen. We've got NAS, we've got euro, we've got gold, we've got dollar yen, and we are about 1 minute out from the release. Guys, everyone in the chat, where are you guys positioned? Spam the chat for me really quick. What are you guys watching going into this spike? And do you have any positions on? Rabalani says, I'm in a Euro USD sell. Let us know, guys. Let us know where you're at. And also, a lot of people are going to leave the stream right after the news spike. Don't do that because the real setups happen after the news spike. Everyone thinks, you got to gamble on the news spike. I'm telling you, I am so much more of a fan of trading after the spike. Once markets start to pick up some volatility, that's where it's at, right? Everybody tries to trade the spike. So we are 20 seconds out, guys, from CPI here, going to give us some insights on July of 2023 in terms of where inflation is at in the United States. It's a key report. And so stick around. We're going to be doing some commentary, some coverage, and the trade setups will follow after the spike. Here we go. All right. And here it goes. Let's see if we get something out of CPI. NAS making an initial move higher. Euro USD initial move higher. And there goes gold. Gold also pumping here to the upside. Look at that move. Gold 1928 quickly 29. Let's see euro coming up, guys. That we talked just about this moments ago. Euro USD is at a level of resistance. We need to watch to see how this spike is reacted to. Are sellers going to hold this zone of resistance? And look at gold. Gold seems to be taking the lead here. Gold making a substantial recovery here. You know, this morning we were trading around 1917. We're up to 1928. That's a significant push to the upside. Dollar yen selling off, however, holding its own. The spike has been kind of erased on dollar yen, interestingly enough. Look at this, guys. 1928. Can gold break 1930? And NASDAQ up to 15,279. We printed. Let's see if that keeps going. Again, we're watching the reaction. Let's also get an idea of the numbers. Numbers came out at 3.2. 3.2, better than expected, guys. That is a better than expected number for inflation, not for the dollar. This can be confusing. That is not a good number for the dollar index. The dollar index is not going to like that. I'll show you guys. We can pull up dollar index because dollar index, again, if inflation is more under control than what was expected, then of course that's going to mean rate hikes probably not going to be as likely. And that means the dollar is going to sell off because rate hikes make the currency more attractive. People are going to be buying bonds. They're going to be, buying interest rate backed products and securities, which of course are all priced in dollars. You need dollars to buy US stocks, US bonds, all those things become more valuable if interest rates are higher, right? Because again, the value of the currency. So keep an eye on that. 101.82 on the dollar index. Euro USD holding its gains, guys. We're above. NASDAQ close to the highs here. Gold 1930 getting tagged. Let's see how we do here at 1930. And let's go isolate some charts here for a moment. Let's see also how the trade signals are doing here this morning. We are back in the green on NASDAQ here, up $112. So again, basically break even on my NAS position there. But love to see a nice pop here on the US indices, which of course, like I said, I am long. I told you guys where I'm at. But again, it's too early to say, oh, there's no victory dance to do just yet for me on my index trades. I am a swing trader. So for me, this is looking for, I'm looking for a couple days of rally. If we can get that, then incredible. If we can't, then I'll need to kind of erase my trade and close out. So that's where I'm at with it. Again, dollar bears probably having a great day. If you sold this dollar, I mean, beautiful, beautiful hold here. And this is, I mentioned my game plan yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter or if you follow me on, of course, here on YouTube, if you watch my videos, my game plan was that if inflation numbers were cooler than expected, the plan for me is sell the dollar, right? And so that's where I am at. I'm not telling you guys what you should be doing because again, this is not financial advice. I am a YouTuber that trades. I am not, your personal financial advisor. So please, do everything with caution and make your own trading decisions. But for me, this number tells me, okay, the dollar rally here probably looks like it's fizzled out, looks like it's run its course. Guys, I have a lot of trading setups that I'm going to be taking here today. If you guys are not already inside of our Discord community, here's a couple things for you. First of all, if you guys would like to get all of the trade alerts that are being shared by myself and Frank, who is my trading colleague, Frank literally just put out something here. He must be taking a trade. We are going to be trading all day. We're going to be trading PPI tomorrow. This is a crazy busy week. And if you want in on all of the trades being taken right now in the chat, there is a link to get 25% off any of our memberships. If you want to sign up and just try it out for a month, click the link. If you want to try and join for the lifetime offer that we have, join the link, click this. What this is going to do when you click this, It's going to make it so you can direct message someone on my team right now. So I have a couple staff people in my office here who can help you get a membership if you want to join us. Again, we are in the live room right now. Of course, we're live streaming, but after this, we will be taking plenty of trades. We'll be looking at things to trade. Some of my options trades are doing quite well. My swing trades, my currency trades. We're having a nice recovery here. We've, of course, had a couple losses, and I'll be very transparent with you guys. You guys want to see the results? These are my results for the last, this year. So up 25K, down 4.3, 20K, 3K, 10.5, 30K, 24K. This month, actually, it's gone back up since then, but down. This has been a tougher month, but we're, like I said, we're kind of recovering very well here. So if you guys would like to join the Discord, again, 25% off if you message us right now. It's full transparency. You're going to get all the entries, exits, as well as the breakdowns behind every trade. So yeah, huge discount, 25% off if you message us. Do not miss out. Again, it's 25% off for people who message us on the live stream right now. So with that said, again, I'm going to be calling out anything I take. Dollar index looks really weak, and I'm happy to see that that is nicely impacting my NAS100 position. We'll see if that one can continue to hold. Other things that I'm watching, sorry, let's see. Aussie dollar, is this one rallying? Yeah, look at this, guys. I was actually kind of interested in this trade setup. This one might, if it pops back up into this area, I might actually be entering into a Aussie dollar short here pretty soon. I actually kind of like this setup. So let's come back to that one. Euro USD. Look at this. So I didn't take this trade, but I thought about it, and I'm glad that I did not. Again, I told you guys I was pretty dollar bearish unless we saw something surprising here today. So I didn't take any trades on Euro USD, and I'll prove that to you so that you're not like, oh yeah, you're only showing the ones that work. No, I thought about taking euro dollar trade, but I held off because I knew CPI was coming, and CPI can be, of course, crazy. So I've only had really a NASDAQ trade on in terms of short-term momentum trades. So that's kind of where I've been positioned. However, I actually need to take a sip of my coffee and think about this euro dollar for a second. Okay, so Euro USD broke clean through the areas on my chart that I marked. So what the heck does that tell us? Does that tell us, oh, clearly, this is just a liquidity run and the market's going to go right back down? Maybe, but I would argue that this candle really matters. And what I mean by that is that, okay, look left, guys. We've got a downward trend going on in the euro. Huge resistance, huge resistance. Let's watch how this candle closes. This is a 4-hour candle with just 22 minutes left on it. I'm sure many of you guys are familiar that the higher the time frame, the more impactful usually the chart actually is, right? So if we get a close, if we get a bullish close on this 4-hour chart, that's going to be a huge deal for the euro dollar bulls. But if this chart closes bearish, that's going to be tough, right? So if we see the opposite effect, if we see a big sell-off and we see price continue to push down, again, watching how this candle closes is really impactful. So I will say this, guys, if the euro dollar actually closes like with a huge wick on top, then I would actually be probably pretty bearish at this level, right? If we get a candle like this. However, if we get a candle like this, right, that would be insanely bullish, because now this level of resistance that we just marked on our chart could become kind of a floor, right? Right now, it's acting kind of as a ceiling. If this price breaks out and stays above that level, it could actually start acting as a floor, okay? So we also had something else here on the numbers here this morning. Let me go ahead and load the screen here. So we had unemployment claims also come out, which came out hotter than expected. So that is showing some cooling in the jobs market, as well as, of course, our headline CPI year over year came down. It actually went up to 3.2% from the previous, which was 3%, but forecasts were for it to go to 3.3. So this is in some ways very bearish for the dollar. Which was rallying on the idea that forecasts were at 3.3%, and now we're getting 3.2%. Okay. So overall, where does this leave us? Well, again, I think that this report is pretty dollar bearish. And so, like I said, watching things like euro dollar, Still watching things like the NASDAQ. Let's take, did the S&P 500 have a reaction to this? It did a little bit. You can see, here's the 1 hour chart, popped up and gave back a lot of those gains. US 30 for the 1 hour chart traders, big move up, came right back down. So pretty intriguing there. And again, like I said, I have a NASDAQ position open, so I'm in the NASDAQ probably the closest. But I know that there's lots of people that want to look at different things. What about USD CAD? Yeah, USD CAD. Let's talk about USD CAD. So I mentioned I actually kind of like this setup. This is a daily chart level, and you can see past resistance, possible support, right? Straightforward. We haven't quite come down fully to that level. I think actually, let's get a fib on here. Let's take a look at the 4 hour chart, see if we can find a little bit more of a clean setup. So if there are fibs from swing low to swing high, you can see we just narrowly missed that 38.2% retracement. If you're a dollar bull, dollar CAD looks really interesting, right? So I mean, this setup, I've talked about this for a little while. I don't hate dollar CAD to the long side personally. And I think I might actually take that trade. If we set up, I might take that trade, depending, of course, when I say might, what I mean is I got to wait to see kind of how the candles are playing around when they get there. If this thing just blows through that level, I'm probably not going to trade it. But if we kind of come down to that area again, and we kind of show some reaction to it, very well could look to get long dollar CAD, because I kind of like that trade. It's very clean. So I like that one. Real quick, guys, we're going to go to Frank and see what he's got for us in terms of setups and ideas. And then we're going to bring in Miko, and I think Marco is coming as well. So should be an interesting day full of guests. So real quick, we're going to come back to Frank and get his insight right after this quick break, thanking our sponsors.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're looking to get funded, we've got a solution for you. Our partnered prop firm FX2 Funding helps traders get access to up to $200,000 in trading capital. FX2 Funding is not your average prop firm. We've chosen them as our partner because of their fair examination rules, their professional and available customer service, and they have an outstanding reputation in the prop firm space. Here's a quick look at their evaluation process. First, they don't have a time limit on their evaluations. That means that you can take your time when passing your evaluation. There's no pressure to rush your trading. Second, there is only one phase to pass in their evaluation before getting access to your funded account. Also, their evaluation fees are fairly priced and fully refundable upon passing. Once you're funded, you'll be able to keep up to 85% of your trading profits. Finally, a rule we know swing traders will love: you can hold your positions over the weekend. For a limited time, get 15% off any of their account challenges with promo code A1Trading15. That's 15% off any account challenge with code A1Trading15. If you're ready to get funded, we're dropping a link in the chat right now, and you can also find it in the description down below. So go ahead and get signed up today for 15% off with promo code A1Trading15. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, and we are back with Miko and Frank. What's going on, Miko? How's it going? Welcome back to the stream.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How are you? How are you two?
Very good, very good. And hey, Miko, do you have any trades on? And if not, what are you looking at here today with this CPI news number that just came out through the market for a little bit of a big volatile move here? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm actually not looking at much, to be fair. I was in a pound yen long position from last week, but this week I haven't actually taken a trade yet. The markets I've been looking at, a lot of the dollar pairs have been quite sideways. Euro USD a little bit sideways there, pound USD as well. I haven't been a big fan of the price action, but I am liking AUD USD and NASDAQ USD on the short side of things. I think there's a lot of downside potential for both of these pairs long term. I'm keeping an eye on the daily and the weekly for them. I think if we can maintain this higher time frame downtrend for both of them, we could be seeing some big swings to the downside. 0.62 I've got for AUD and I've got around 0.56, I believe, 55 for NASDAQ USD. So I'm kind of waiting for these guys to give me some half decent pullbacks, because right now they're kind of coming into some areas of support. And I don't really want to be holding trades into that area. As a day trader, you could probably get away with it, but I don't want to be holding positions overnight into such key areas of support. So I'm going to be looking at shorts for this one. as well. And these are the two main pairs I'm looking at, really. There's a few other pairs that look okay, but they need some work to do. And also some yen pairs as well. If I can get some retracement, because they're looking very, very bullish as well. So I'm looking to see if I can follow that trend. Euro yen, pound yen, if I can get some decent pullbacks from them, I will keep an eye out.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I was going to say, of course, the dollar impact here today was huge, and it does, even if you're not a fundamental trader, which Miko, I know you kind of shy away from the fundamental side, you still understand, of course, that just the impact of this news event, and also to your point, dollar has been in a lot of consolidation. Perhaps this news gives us some kind of breakout that could be meaningful. I've got the dollar index here pulled up, and guys, we pointed out you had this longer term downward trend. We did just kind of bounce off of this key area. Dollar bulls in the chat. There's a couple people that are looking at this optimistically. I would just say, to Miko's point, we've kind of been in consolidation, so there is an argument for kind of just choppiness to stay consistent here. The question, however, will be, can we actually break either way, right? But giving some clarity to directional move on the dollar. Frank, thanks for joining the stream. Also, of course, you guys know Frank. If you're regular viewers on the stream, Frank is he's one of our analysts here at A1 Trading as well. Frank, what are you looking at here post CPI release?
So those numbers were pretty interesting. I think we saw unchanged in core. The year over year didn't rise as much as expected, which is, I want to say, a good thing for, risk on. So stocks, gold, oil, just because the dollar's been so, I guess, causing a lot of pressure on indices and stuff like that, just because higher CPI is not the best thing for risk on environments. So we were really expecting a higher inflation level, but also analysts were saying it's not going to really affect the idea or goal of a soft landing from the Fed. So I think this initial news is just kind of noise. It's gone up and down. It's around break even right now. I think overall, once the market opens, at least what I'm hoping for is some upside and maybe a break in this trend line, because it came up to test and then came all the way back, and then it's just going back and forth. But I entered a long trade on the S&P, and I'm still in oil and Kiwi yen. So
I was going to ask you, we had some people in the chat, Frank, who were asking about your oil trade. Are you still in that oil trade? Have you trailed? Where are you at with that one?
Yeah. So I need to check where I trailed, but yeah. So I'm looking at the hourly chart. Does the same thing as the S&P. Nothing out of the ordinary, but it did come down to a somewhat of a demand zone, and maybe it'll establish a higher low, which will be nice. I have it trailed at around 82.05. So if we want to mark that up on the chart, 82.05, it's pretty low. Just because I want to let this trade run. Like I said,
Sure.
I want to see this thing move a lot. Smart money is really buying this up. So hopefully we'll just continue to see higher levels. And if it establishes this higher low, I might trail up to around here, maybe 82.90, or then maybe work my way up into the 83s. But still holding gold or oil for right now. So.
Cool. And Miko, so Frank and I have been trading together for a long time. We tend to have a similar trading style. We trail stops. So, as Frank was just mentioning, if we could put in that higher low, he's looking to kind of trail the stop a little bit on it. Just different exit strategies. For those of you guys who are newer to streams, if you have not seen Miko join us on the stream before, Miko tends to trade a little bit differently, but that's why we bring on different guests. We bring people with different takes, different insights, different strategies, trade management, that sort of thing. So I want to ask you, Miko, you mentioned some of the dollar pairs. Can you give us a little bit of a game plan, if you will, for like what would actually trigger you into a trade. Like, of course, we talked about dollar pairs kind of ranging. However, lots of volatility here. What would you be looking at to kind of execute a trade on any dollar pairs?
Okay, yeah. So the main dollar pairs I'm looking at the moment is just AUD/USD and NASDAQ on the short side of things.
Mhm.
However, with these guys, they're coming back into some areas of support here on the left, particularly on the daily time frame. So the trade I'm after is looking to follow the trend essentially. And there is a slight trend here. There's a nice little trend here for the past kind of couple of weeks. But overall, they've been quite choppy. So I need to be careful and not let my analysis jump me into the trade and jump the gun, because we are approaching some key areas of support. So I'm either looking at one or two things. Either we break through this area. That's not the wrong tool. We break through this area, look for some pullbacks on the retest of these areas. I'll be looking for my candlestick patterns. That's how I enter my positions. And then I'll be looking for a lower high to present itself and see if we can get some shorts down here. I won't be looking to hold the whole way, but I'll be looking to see if I can maybe take 2 or 3 trades on the way down. Or the second idea is if we have another push to the upside, potentially a low high develop somewhere, and then we drop to the downside, maybe coming back to some of this level potentially here on the left. So I've got my eye up there as well. But at the moment, we're kind of just at support. So it's kind of no man's land in terms of me looking to sell. Maybe some buyers are looking to get involved with these prices, but nothing at the moment, which is kind of why I'm kind of relaxed right now, kind of waiting for next week to see kind of what happens going to the end of the week. If we do get that pullback or we just melt down. And same kind of idea as well for NASDAQ. Well, this is a NASDAQ. Same thing for AUD/USD as well. The market here is kind of sideways. You know, this is pretty much consolidation as well. But I am expecting that overall high time frame trend to kick back in and see that next leg lower. So I'm not willing to short at these particular prices here. But if you can break through them, retest, then that becomes interesting for me for some lower highs, or potentially pull back a little bit higher as well, lower highs somewhere, and then we come back and attack the same level. At least at that high, I can protect myself with a decent stop loss and a decent risk reward, so I can actually take profit coming back into that support rather than try and sell into that level itself. So entries, I'm basically just looking at candlestick patterns to get in at good areas of confluence, support, resistance, trend lines, and looking at a lot of wicks and rejection as well. But that's kind of my idea at the moment. Not really a lot going on. I was hoping kind of the CPI would get things moving. So far, I've seen some nice momentum, but still early doors. So we'll see where that takes us.
Sure. Yeah, no, thanks for that. And again, always interesting just to see the different ways you would mark up a chart. I do have one question for you before we let you go, Miko. In terms of, you know, you established that bias on NZD/USD, AUD/USD, that kind of bearish bias. And you mentioned, of course, when you look at different time frames, you get different you know, trends, different time frames, different levels of support and resistance. How do you establish that bias? Because I know, you know, Frank and I, we established that bias. That kind of question mark comes from the fundamentals, where we're kind of like, okay, we look at, you know, a list of you know, factors that we look at from, you know, our software and fundamental factors, and then we kind of build a bias, and then we look for the technicals to agree. But yourself, you're a primarily technical trader. How do you establish that bias when you kind of get time frames that can be a little bit you know, contradictory at sometimes?
Yeah, so that's a good question. But the way I look to interpret is basically when you got multiple time frames that all can give you different things. High time frames might look up, low time frames look bearish, and then you go lower, it looks up again. So the way I look to establish bias is see where a lot of time frames come together. My main time frame I look at for direction is daily time frame. So I kind of build the picture around that particular time frame. And let's say if the daily is bearish and so is the weekly, and the 4H looks like it's going to be bearish soon, then my bias for that one is bearish. I'm kind of waiting for my entry time frames, which is 4H now, to kind of line up with the higher time frame as well. When I've got an instance like the 4H is bullish, daily's bearish, weekly's bullish, I just stay away normally, because again, my duty as a trader is to make profits, and I don't want to make it difficult for myself. So if the bias is not clear, if multiple time frames are pointing different directions, then I just stay away. If it's clear, like for example, AUSD, the daily looks choppy, but if you expand, you can see the low highs there drop to to the weekly as well. You can see the low highs there as well. So I can see with this one, the direction is clearly to the downside in the higher time frame. So it makes it a lot simpler for me. So stepping into the 4H, I can see it's also down as well, but I don't want to enter the support level. So I'm waiting for an up move or to see if this trend can continue, break support and retest. So it's about just making sure, waiting for the right moment and utilizing higher time frames as well.
Very nice. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. I'm sure, maybe somebody in the audience was wondering that as well. So thank you, Miko, for coming on, as always, to the show. Miko, where's the best place for people to find you? I know you have YouTube. Is there any other place that people can connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube's my main thing, but I also do have an Instagram profile, so feel free to check that out. Also Twitter as well. And I do have a Telegram as well, which you will find on my YouTube channel, where I do share my updates, my watch list for the week, ideas I have. So you can feel free to connect with me on that as well.
Cool, guys. Yes, Miko, primarily technical trader, great YouTube content. And if you'd like to keep up with him, make sure to subscribe to him. And again, subscribe to all of our guests. We do really appreciate people who contribute to these shows to make them higher quality for you guys at home. Miko, I want to thank you for coming on, and we will see you back on the next one.
Bye, Miko.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cool. Frank, I want to ask you a question too before I let you go as well. Fundamentals, right? So you mentioned CPI today came out 3.2%. Does this change anything for you, or does this actually give you more confidence on some of your trades? Of course, I would say that your U.S. oil trade, I would say it looks good now. The fundamentals, I think that's a nice factor. What do you think?
Yeah, it's almost like the expectations matter more, because so we did see a rise year over year. It went from like 3 to 3.2. Core and month over month, just standard CPI stayed the same though, which could indicate there's some stubborn inflation, I guess. But with the interest rates as high as they are now, like, it's pretty likely that inflation will keep moving down. The job market has to comply with interest rates too. But overall, like, I think the miss in expectations, even though we saw a rise, it didn't rise as high as analysts thought. So I feel like that's almost a better indicator than seeing it rise than higher than last time. Yeah, I think we're at a pretty big decision point here. Gold and the indices, especially, they're up against this sort of trend line. You got it drawn on like the 1 hour or the 4 hour. And I think what it's got to do is it's got to close above. Right now, it's not showing an indication of that, but you could either see a really good short setup right here, or maybe a breakthrough and a shift in direction. But yeah, hoping for some upside, because I'm in the S&P right now. And if not, I'll have to rely on gold and Kiwi yen to keep me in profit. So
yeah, I think I was going to say, like, you've got these clear downward trends on the technical side. But again, the CPI report coming out, cooler than, I guess, what was forecast. It's still a tick up year over year. But this is not the first time that we've had, well, actually, it's been a string of overall lesser than expected inflation, which is why the markets have been, really strong recently. And I think gold trading back down to 1915, my personal opinion is I think we have more upside. Now, one thing that we talked about yesterday, Frank, is we talked about kind of just China and the slowing inflation. And of course, the metals market could have gotten, a hit from that, because again, China is a lead exporter in the world, and they use a ton of raw materials, including gold and silver, in their economy. So a slowing in the Chinese economy has some metals market impact. But again, I really like, the CPI report came out today. It was in some ways kind of a win, but to your point there too, this technical downtrend has to crack before I give another shot to my gold longs personally. If you caught the lows, that's awesome, but that's kind of where I'm at. I'm waiting to see that breakout on things like gold.
Yeah, I think that's a good stance to take. just because everything is so mixed. But even if you pull up the Fed Watch tool, it's now saying over 90% think that interest rates will stay where they're at, and almost a little under 10% is saying that they'll hike, which is pretty nice to see because earlier this week it was, I think, more so around 14% thought there was going to be a hike. I could be wrong. I could be making that number up, but I'm pretty sure it was higher earlier in the week. So seeing after this inflation news, seeing how the expectations of a pause for August or the next meeting was pretty high. So that's kind of promising.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I think, it's like you just said, Frank. Of course, the indices have seen the love of, of the Fed's likeliness to kind of come to a slow on these interest rates. The indices have seen that. Where I really like your trade on oil and gold is I think that, the commodities have not yet seen kind of the potential there. And so you've got oil already. You're in that trade alert. You shared that inside of the group. That's going awesome. I continue to be jealous on that. But I do think also, I keep coming back to gold and thinking that, this market has plenty of upside once we start to see, in my opinion, the crest of interest rates in the US. So again, gold is still, it has been, and it continues to be kind of something I'm really, really kind of rubbing my hands together and waiting on. But yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. Commodities, probably the lesser appreciated compared to, of course, indices, which have had really strong runs. We'll have to see if we can get these breakouts to get some trades going. I mentioned this earlier, guys, but we will be sharing all of our trades. Myself and Frank, we share our trades inside of our live room. If you're not already inside of our Discord channel, we are doing 25% off memberships right now. To get access, all you have to do is send us a direct message using this link that we just had the producers drop. Thank you guys for dropping those links. If you guys want to sign up, if you message us while we're on the live stream, you can get in on the action, 25% off for a limited time. So Frank, thank you for joining me on the show here today for this pretty eventful CPI number. And we will see you back on the next stream.
Yeah. See you next time.
All right. There he is, guys. Frank Kabibi, my partner in crime when it comes to this stuff. You guys, before we ever, even did anything on YouTube, Frank and I, we used to sit in his basement and we would just, talk trading, talk charts. It's kind of a fun story to think back on, just because now, we're in like an office together. We trade every day together. We're looking at the markets. We're building software tools together. This stuff that you guys see me on my stream using or on my channel using, this is Frank and I's this is our child, if you will, our market baby, if you will. Because we've been working on it for about a year and a half, just building software tools for traders and also for ourselves. Frank made mention, I want to just highlight what Frank said earlier about oil. Go back to oil here for just a second on the chart. Not something that, either of us really trade that often, but Frank has a beautiful trade on it. The oil market is really intriguing because of the idea that, again, CPI came out cooler than expected. That's going to positively impact some forecasts for the commodities world. And if I'm not sure why COT is not wanting to load here today, but Frank made points to it that, again, overall big money has been really long on the oil market. And, that's part of the reason why he looked for those pullbacks. Frank caught this move like right here and shared the full breakdown inside of our Discord. So I'll just show you guys what that looks like. And also, let me see, Frank took another trade here this morning. I won't show it on stream, but let's see, we'll go back to US oil. These are from a couple days ago when he first got in oil. Yeah, he bought oil, full breakdown. Analysts are expecting a drop in inflation year over year, which could suggest falling demand in the economy and oil prices. However, a tightening supply on the commodity and demand from smart money last week could suggest higher oil prices. So again, we're keeping an eye on the COT data. If you guys have ever used the COT reports, they're a very helpful resource that we use very frequently on stream and of course in our own trading. So if you guys would like to join us inside of the Discord, do not miss out on the 25% off sale using the link that just was dropped in the chat. and I hope to see some of you guys there. Have a great rest of your trading day. We will be back tomorrow, of course, for PPI, where the news continues, and we will be trading for the remainder of the day inside of the Discord. Shoot Frank or myself a message if you have any trade ideas that you're watching on Discord. We'll be very active there today. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great one.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're interested in getting free access to the EDGEFINDER or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.